Welcome back to Ladies of Another View, and I want to welcome to our show Craig DeLuz. He's the founder, owner of Uncommon Sense Media Group. I like that, Uncommon Sense Media Group. And he's also with the National Center for Public Policy Research, and he's a member of Project 21. Welcome to the show, Craig.
Pleasure to be with you again.
You know, Project 21 it's an organization for conservative Black people. And we have hit a home run with every guest we've ever had on. So sensible, so good, so refreshing. And including you, we've loved having you on before. And you actually live in California.
Yes, I live what I call behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's start, before we came on, we were talking about in Sacramento, they had a special session, and they're worried about Trump. Instead of worrying about the fires, tell me what that special session was about.
Well, following the election, Governor Gavin Newsom, our illustrious leader here in the state of California, decided that he wanted to create an environment where we could take California's progressive liberal policies, you know, the ones that have put California at the bottom of every list that you want to be on the top of, and at the top of every list you want to be at the bottom of, and make sure that those policies are safe from the ravages of common sense that would be brought forth by President Trump. So he called a special session, and the California legislature actually committed to, he wanted $100 million in order to provide legal assistance and legal aid to our California Attorney General's office. They agreed to $50 million to pay for legal fees in order to basically have the state of California sue the federal government in order to keep our policies in place. It is beyond ridiculous, especially when one considers that, California did quite well under Donald Trump the first time around. And one has to believe that as the economy turns around, as the borders are secured, as crime actually becomes criminal again, that California will only benefit.
Yeah, and that's really unfortunate to hear that they just awarded your AG $50 million, because that's all you guys paying for it, right? And your taxes in California are astronomical, and the fact that you have to pay for your state to weaponize litigation against the federal government under Trump is ridiculous, when Trump has, like you said, has done no ill towards the state. And if anything, they should be working during this special session to award these people home, or help these people fund their homes that they have lost during these fires.
Well, one would think that would be their priority at this point. One of the things that I will say that the governor did recognize, and he did make a statement about, was that the state of California will be lifting onerous environmental regulations put on by the California legislature, as well as by the California Coastal Commission, in order to expedite the rebuilding of homes in Southern California, which leads me to believe, or at least think, that the governor now realizes, or at least is now acknowledging, that it's the increase or the massive regulations, the overemphasis of environmental regulations that have led in part to the astronomical cost of housing in the state of California, where we currently have half the nation's homeless population, where it is so expensive. I'll give you an example. It's so expensive to build a unit of single family housing. You add basically $100,000 in fees and regulatory compliance before you even put one shovel in the ground in order to build a unit of single family housing in the state of California. So he appears to know that by lifting that regulation, we can expedite and increase and make more affordable housing in Los Angeles. My only question is, why is he not doing that for the entire state and doing it permanently?
Well, and I think, that was part of the thing they were talking about, that permits and titles and all that stuff can take 9 months, and then the building process can take up to 2 years. So I'm wondering, with how things are going in the Pacific Palisades and things like that, schools are lost. So I'm wondering, with everything going on, do you think some of these people are just like, I'm done? The regulations, our governor, our mayor, we're just done and we're just going to flee like other people have left.
I think you're going to see some people are going to realize that the amount of money that they're going to get either from their insurance company or from the state or federal government in order to cover the cost of their home and all that they've lost, they're going to find that they can live a much better lifestyle outside of the state of California, and they are going to leave and not return. Others are going to do the same thing, but they're going to do so in other areas of California where it's a lot more affordable. But even still, they're still going to have to deal with a lot of these very same regulations, unless, of course, they're going to be living on the coast. So I think you're going to see a significant exodus out of Southern California, which, I think is sad. But unfortunately, people have divorced the understanding that the reason why it's so expensive is because of the policies put in place.
Yeah, when you say they've divorced, that's what I worry about, because they voted these people in. They keep voting Newsom in. I'm like, why would you do that? Can't you see the guy doesn't have any? He's not logical. He's not sensible. He doesn't really seem to care about the people. He wants to know whose fault this is. Like, yeah, go look in the mirror. He's acting like he's going to do an investigation, and like the rest of us are like, yeah, you had a lot of DEI hires. Your reservoir was empty. The fire trucks, just bad policy. And we worry about the Californians leaving to greener pastures, but not recognizing, not making that connection of what caused the problems to begin with. Are people starting to connect the dots?
Well, I think they are starting to connect the dots. They already did so when it's come to inflation. They've done so when it comes to crime. And in this particular case, let's be clear, Gavin Newsom didn't start the fires, right? The Democrats in California didn't start the fires. But the policies that they put in place have made the response to the fires taken it from a tragedy to a complete and utter disaster.
Yeah, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about that and just some of the politics you're seeing in California when it comes to minorities too, that are moving more and more to conservative thinking, right? So we'll be right back.